Welcome back, Gary. Thank you for once again joining us. For those who are just watching, if you have not watched the first part with Gary Sanon, I encourage you to just click pause on this one and watch the other one. But for those who don't know you, I would like for you to give them a quick introduction about yourself before we get started.
All right, so I'm Garry Sanon. Giselle, thanks for having me on again. So I am the CEO of SINEW Inc. As we discussed in the first episode, SINEW has two major components, one being SINEW Fitness and the other being SINEW Media Group. And the third aspect that we are in the process of developing is a real estate component.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much. Well, for this episode, you're going to be talking to the audience about your movements, which you almost touched upon on the first episode. But now that you're here, I would like for you to just give them the 3 pillars of your movement and just get right to it.
Okay, so 3 pillars: community, connectivity, and strength. So SINEW, that is the moniker of our brand. Community aspect, the importance of that is us connecting with individuals, so us going out into the community to provide the services that we do, rather than waiting for people to come to us. We want to go out to people. So when it comes to fitness, I'm a mobile business and also a virtual business, so I'm able to work with people all throughout the world, all throughout the country, virtually. And then also, from a mobile standpoint, limiting factor with a lot of communities is the ability, of people to just travel to you. So sometimes it means that, they may not have the financial means. Sometimes it just may mean that you're just too far, they're not able to drive, or there might be, parents, that can't leave the house because now their kids are being homeschooled.
Yes.
So that's the importance of being able to go out to people from a community standpoint. The connectivity describes the importance of understanding the inner workings of how things work, right? So if we're talking about the human body, it's the inner workings, how things are connected. Sometimes you might have an individual, that says, I have a knee issue, but that knee issue may actually be an ankle mobility issue, or maybe a tightness issue with the quadriceps or the hamstrings. I'm going to make sure that I understand the inner workings of that. And then as far as like from a strength standpoint, the strength component of it is just developing that inner strength, that inner belief in yourself. It's not the physical, it's the really the inner belief of yourself. If you develop that, that's what's going to lead you to breaking through barriers. And I think,
Yes.
As far as like from a fitness standpoint, it definitely applies, but then also in other aspects of my business, it applies also too, because, I always want to connect with people. My thing too is to build up our community. So when people come and work for me, I'm actually working harder for them because I want to see their growth. My mindset is really to be a servant leader.
Thank you so much for that. It's something that I want to go back to. It was the community point where you pointed out that it's important for you to bring people these resources. And thinking about our low-income communities around Massachusetts, where we only probably have one gym near us, and that's barely. And if that's a gym near us, it's probably too expensive for us to afford us. So it's incredible to see that your idea and your design for your business, for your fitness platform, is to bring these cities that are underrepresented that possibility. And that we're struggling with a lot of health issues in the low-income communities because we are surrounded by a bunch of fast food restaurants. We don't have Whole Foods nearby, and if so, it will probably be very far. So I'm very, very happy that your business is so reachable, and I really like how you continue to bring us these resources and tools. Well, before we move forward with your business plan, I would like for you to also discuss about your most recent projects in terms of your fitness. We did touch upon it in the first episode of him traveling to different cities, but if you missed that one, we want to make sure to bring it back to you. This entire year, SINEW Inc. Fitness, or excuse me, SINEW Fitness Learning. SINEW Fitness is traveling across cities in Massachusetts to just come bring these fitness boot camps to you. But I'll let you talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I wanted to do, and obviously are seeing that there's a lot of civil unrest.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of division amongst us. We're seeing, people in all different factions are just angry and they're confused, and a lot of it has to do with lack of dialogue. So for me, I think it's really important that we bring together people of all different communities. Like I mentioned in the first episode, I've had the opportunity to work for every different type of person and people and community you can think of, ranging from really high-end clientele. I would see celebrities come into the gyms that I would work at. I would actually work with celebrities myself and professional athletes, to working inner city communities, inner city programs. Even one of the programs that I'm working with right now is called the U program. It's in Boston. It's a health and wellness program. It services young adults, 14 to 24. But going back to my strength camp, so what the strength camps are an opportunity for people to come together, practicing social distancing, still be able to work out. We're working out outdoors. In Massachusetts, we don't get that much time, when it comes to summer and spring, and the weather's not going to be that nice. So, for me, it's really important that we, I get people out there and just start working out and start working on their fitness and health. Also through SINEW, we provide nutrition education. There's so many different components of it that it's not just fitness, it's about wellness. There's other components that are going to be built into it that address specifically mental health, especially, with there being so much in the media right now and us having so many visuals. It's really important that we do check on each other and that we really check on ourselves. So there is going to be a component that's built into that. And when that component is built, it's actually going to be run by my sister, who's a mental health specialist, and she's been doing it just as long as I have. So she's been in the field for over 20 years.
Thank you for sharing those new projects that you have for all of these communities, and thank you for your inclusivity. We really appreciate that. So now that you have told us these projects that you have for all of us, I would like for you to just tell us what are we going to expect from the 3 pillars of this movement of yours, which is community, connectivity, and strength.
So my hopes is really to bring us all together. So I would love to see, because when I think about real estate, for example, which is one of my newer ventures. When I think about that, the reason why you have these corporations that are able to buy up all these properties, because you have a couple friends that have a couple drinks. Essentially, that's what it is, and they just say, "Hey, I have $50,000. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buy this house over here." And then one friend might say, "Hey, you know what? Like, I'm thinking about buying a house too. I have $50,000. And then all of a sudden, that's how you create a corporation, and that's how they're buying up our communities. So, when I'm with some of my friends, we're already in talks. We started talking about different things, different projects that we have. I don't want to give too much, but essentially that's what we're gonna do. It's a group of friends. I grew up with them. We all have the same interests, and we just said, hey, you know what? Rather than us trying to buy things individually, what if we came together? And that's really the community piece. So when I look to partner with different businesses, when I look to come out and just do different speaking engagements, I'm always thinking about how I can get other folks to work with me. I'm not thinking about how I can go ahead and take advantage of folks. So for me, it's really important that, this becomes the cornerstone of the way that we do business. What's going to strengthen our communities, the Black and brown communities, is not for us to divide and not for us to fight over each other. It's for us to support each other. It takes nothing for me to repost you. It takes nothing for you to repost me. And then now all of a sudden we're on each other's platforms. Now if we all started to think like that, it looks a lot different when we stand together as opposed to us standing divided.
Wow. Thank you for that. That's something that I myself can connect with, absolutely, because we are all trying to rise above. We are all trying to make it. But if we are going to be dragging each other down, then how are we going to be able to represent each other when we're at the top? It shouldn't take only one of us to make it to the top. It should take all of us. And if there is that one person that is rising above and is more ahead than the others, they should be pulling us up as well. And that is something that we touched upon in the previous episodes, the power of women of color uniting as well, because that is also another thing that it's very important, not only to see our brothers and sisters of color to build each other up, but also the women. We need to see more entrepreneurs, more women uniting together and supporting each other. But thank you, Garry, for that. Thank you for these amazing advices. And I really hope and I wish you the best, the very, very best with your movement. And we cannot wait to see what you can get to us. Just like you're saying, you go everywhere, you go anywhere. So we can't wait for that.
I appreciate it.